Namaste my dear friends, this is CA Dheeraj Kumar Chaudhary and today I am here to share with you some insights on limited liability partnerships. The inclination towards multiple persons coming together to do business has a long-standing history in India, and partnerships and companies have been the main mechanisms to achieve these goals. Today practitioners are very well versed with these laws, but there is this another aspect, that is the LLP, and a lot of restructurings can be done. Let us understand what LLP is, what are its advantages, what are its limitations, and some of the areas where LLPs are commonly used. So let us begin our discussion. Overview of LLP. Limited liability partnership firms provide limited liability similar to that of a company and at the same time provides flexibility of operations available in a partnership firm. We have always heard about perpetual succession in a case of a company. That is, the directors or the shareholders may come and may go, but the company continues forever. Same is the case with a limited liability partnership. In case of a limited liability partnership, the designated partners or the partners may come and may go, but the LLP continues forever. LLP is also a separate legal entity, that is, it is competent to be sued or to sue any other person in its own name. Internationally, LLPs have been in existence for a long time in countries like the US, UK, Canada, and in most of these countries, the LLP form of business organization is fiscally transparent. That is, LLPs are not taxed like a corporate or a separate legal entity. Rather, the partners are taxed for the profits earned by the LLP. That is, it is a flow through concept. However, in India, an LLP is taxed like a separate legal entity, or we can say that it is taxed like a corporate. In India, the need for a separate legislation for limited liability partnerships was recommended by various groups and expert committees. The latest being the recommendation of Dr. J.J. Irani Committee on New Company Law 2005. Based on the recommendations of these various groups and committees, LLP Act 2008 and LLP Rules 2009 were introduced to govern the regulatory aspect. Moving forward, let us understand why the need for LLP arose. In case of traditional partnership firms, each partner is an agent for both the partnership firm and other partners, thereby making him liable for the business decisions or misconduct by other partners. In other words, we can say that all the partners are jointly and severely liable. To safeguard individual partners from joint liability created by other partners, the need for LLP was felt. In case of an LLP, each partner is an agent only of the partnership firm and not of other partners. Indian professionals used to practice traditionally in the form of partnership firm which had unlimited liability, thereby making them incompetitive to participate in the international business community. To encourage Indian professionals to explore the opportunities available in the international business community without making them prone to the risks of unlimited liability, the need for LLP was evident. With the rise of entrepreneurship in India, the need for LLP arose to enable the entrepreneurs conduct businesses in a commercially efficient vehicle which would provide the advantages of a corporate form of business without having struggling to ensure the compliances. Now let us understand some of the few concepts of LLP. LLP cannot be incorporated for non-profit objectives. One of the primary conditions for incorporation of partnership is the existence of profit motive. Similarly, an LLP with non-profit objectives cannot be incorporated. We must also note that a company incorporated under Section 8 of the Companies Act 2013 or Section 25 of the erstwhile Companies Act 1956 cannot be converted to a LLP. A LLP cannot be incorporated as an NBFC, and hence the words like finance or loan are not to be included in the main object. The word etc., that is etc, is also prohibited to be used in the main objects, as we need to be specific of our objects. Any other object may be included in the ancillary object clause. So far as capital contribution is concerned, capital contribution is mandatory for partners and need not be proportional to the profit sharing ratio. That is, a partner with a capital contribution of rupee 1 can have a profit sharing ratio of more than 90%. It is to be noted that only individuals and body corporates, whether incorporated in or outside India, are eligible to be partners in a LLP, and thus a trust, HUF, or societies cannot act as partners in an LLP. NBFC companies, in terms of RBI circular dated June 11, 2013, are ineligible to act as partners in a LLP. In case of LLP, there is no maximum limit on the number of partners. Contrary to that, traditional partnership firms have a limit of 100 partners. In case of an LLP, there must be minimum 2 designated partners. The designated partners should be individuals, and one out of the designated partners should be resident in India. Resident in India means a person who has stayed in India for a period of 182 days or more in the previous financial year. It is to be noted that only individuals can act as designated partners, and in case the partners of a LLP are body corporates, they can appoint their nominees, that is nominees that are individuals, as designated partners. Designated partners are the partners responsible for the compliance obligations of an LLP, offences, receiving notices, penalties, etc. Let us have an overview of some of the advantages of LLP over traditional partnership firms. Apart from separate legal entity, limited liability, and loan limit on the number of members in case of an LLP, LLPs are also capable of entering into contracts in its own name. That is, the property in an LLP belongs to the LLP itself, unlike in a partnership firm where the property of the firm is the property of the individuals comprising in it. The partners of a LLP are also not liable for act of other partners, unlike traditional partnership firms where every partner is an agent of other partner. LLPs are also considered to be credible in terms of raising finance from financial institutions due to their compliances and transparency in operations. LLPs are also eligible for making investments in shares. Partnership firms, that is, the traditional partnership firms, are not legal persons, and as such, it cannot in its own name become a member of a company except in a company registered under Section 8 of the Companies Act 2013. Let us also look at some of the advantages of LLP over companies. LLPs have no minimum capital requirements, whereas all of us are very well aware of the minimum capital requirements, that is paid up capital, in case of companies. Withdrawal of capital is very flexible in case of an LLP, and capital can be withdrawn subject to the clauses in an LLP agreement. However, in case of a company, if the company opts for buyback of shares, it is a lengthy legal process and involves lots of compliances. The registers and records to be maintained in case of companies are also numerous, whereas in case of LLP, not many registers and records are required to be maintained. A partner can easily resign from a partnership firm, whereas in case of a company, a shareholder has to transfer his shares for ceasing to become a member of that company. In case of an LLP, it is possible by other partners to remove a partner from ownership. However, this is not possible in case of companies. LLPs are also not required to hold any statutory meetings, unlike the companies where they are required to hold minimum number of board meetings and an annual general meeting. LLPs are required to be audited only if their turnover exceeds rupees 40 lakh or the contribution exceeds rupees 25 lakh. However, in case of companies, audit requirements are compulsory without considering the turnover or capital. LLPs also have no maximum number of owners, whereas companies, that is private companies, are subject to a maximum 200 shareholders. Companies are prohibited from paying interest on capital subject to certain exceptions. However, LLPs subject to LLP agreement can pay interest on capital to the partners. Now let us see some of the areas where LLPs are commonly in use. LLPs are commonly in use these days among professionals, since most of the professional institutions do not allow professionals to practice in a company form. Professionals are finding it very favorable to opt as an LLP. LLP not only protect the partners against their personal liability but also grant the most needed protection of liabilities filtering in due to actions of other partners. LLPs are also common among the real estate sector. With the advent of Companies Act 2013, several exemptions and relaxations available earlier to private companies and unlisted public companies have been done away with, and the new company law has imposed several restrictions on such companies. Due to the advantages and flexibility in use of LLPs, the real estate sector has been one of the major sectors moving to this legal structure in the recent times. LLPs are also widely used as special purpose vehicles for the obvious reasons of flexibility of management and easy exit. Special purpose vehicles are formed for a particular purpose and are generally winded up after the purpose is solved, and thus LLPs providing them easy exit are a favorable option for such special purpose vehicles. Level of acceptance of LLP structure in India has picked up post liberalization of FDI regime, and foreign joint venture collaborations are now formed through LLPs. Apart from all this, LLPs are also very common these days to form alternate investment funds subject to SEBI guidelines. LLPs are also commonly used as a beneficiary entity in succession planning through a family trust. Having discussed the advantages of LLP, let us have an overview of some of the limitations of LLP. LLPs are not suitable for organizations looking forward to raise finance through IPOs for the obvious reasons that LLPs are not allowed to listed on recognized stock exchanges. Further, an LLP is not a setup where there is a one vote per share system. An LLP can be structured in such a way that one partner has more rights than other. An LLP must file its annual returns and financial statements to the registrar. These documents, when filed, becomes public documents and can be used by competitors to gain a competitive edge. There are certain limitations in formation of LLP too, like an LLP cannot be formed by a single person, and LLP should have a designated partner who is a resident in India. Apart from all this, LLPs also have offences and penalties for non-filing, late filing, which may at times be painful for the MSME sector. LLPs are also not allowed to raise external commercial borrowings. Therefore, a LLP cannot avail commercial loans from its foreign partners, FIIs, foreign banks, and any other financial institutions located outside India. I would like to conclude in a nutshell by saying that the LLP model is yet to be explored and has a long way to go. It would act as an engine of growth for the economic development of the country and will encourage joint ventures and make Indian service sector globally competitive. Thank you for your patient hearing. I trust you would have find this presentation useful. Finally, I take this opportunity to wish each one of you good health and prosperity. Thank you and Jai Hind.